Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Still choosing the company of dogs over the company of humans, as usual. Thanks for asking. We've got a packed show for you yet again today. So, without further ado, let's roll that intro. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's Monday, the 2nd of August, and as that ever-present guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, and in today's show, another blot is partially removed from the UK skyline as DSM fells 4 cooling towers at Eggborough Power Station. Construction sector investment is still suffering from post-COVID symptoms. Um, Also going to discuss why I may have misjudged the popularity of framework agreements. And there's a tiny little demolition project up for grabs in the town of Godalming. If you've got any comments or questions about these subjects or about anything else for that matter, please leave them in the chat and I will get to them just as soon as I can, probably at the end of the show in the after party. Before we get to that, let's take a look at which celebrities will be required to lie about their age even more after celebrating a birthday today.
Happy birthday!
And it's many happy returns to journalist and broadcaster Alan Wicker of Wicker's World fame, to movie actor Peter O'Toole, and to Nightmare on Elm Street director Wes Craven. Happy birthday to singer Andrew Gold, and to long retired footballer Sammy McIlroy, formerly of Manchester United. Happy birthday to each and every one of them. Now, as I said at the top of the show, another blot was partially removed from the UK skyline yesterday morning as the mighty DSM felled the first 4 cooling towers at the now retired Eggborough Power Station. The 90-metre tall concrete structures have been a landmark for more than 50 years, but they brought down as part of plans to redevelop the site after the plant closed in 2018, in line with lots of other coal-fired power stations up and down the land. Now, under normal circumstances, we generally like to add some suitably epic music to these videos, but on this occasion, the blast and the subsequent fall of the towers provides an even better soundtrack. So get your eyes and your ears around this. It's like the sound of distant thunder, isn't it? DSM Technical Director Billy Young said, "We're delighted at all the planning and hard work that has led up to today, as that's enabled us to have a successful demolition. We appreciate that a number of Eggborough residents and businesses could have been disrupted by the work, but we've worked hard to communicate with them behind the scenes to minimise that as much as possible. We would like to thank them and the wider community for their patience so far and assure everyone that we will do all we can to minimise any further disruption." I'd like to say a personal congratulations to the team at DSM for a job typically well done. And many thanks also to Billy himself for sharing the video with us.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
So I find myself at odds with popular opinion yet again. If you watch this show with any regularity, you'll know that's hardly unique. If you've seen today's edition of our weekly email newsletter, This Week in Demolition, you will know that I have had a lot to say on the subject of framework agreements. It was and still is my contention that these agreements are overly bureaucratic, that they skew demolition work towards those companies large enough to afford a dedicated bid team, that they don't really offer great value to the public coffers, and that even those companies fortunate enough to make it through the vetting process, often at considerable expense, have no actual guarantee of paid work. All good arguments, I thought, and if I say so myself, all arguments well argued. So, with the subject of framework agreements fresh in my mind, I conducted a poll over on our Instagram feed this weekend to see just what others made of them. Just under 3,600 people took part in that poll, and 71% of them said that framework agreements were a good thing, which indirectly says that I'm an idiot. Now, despite the fact that I find myself in the minority, not for the first time, I've posted that article on demolitionnews.com. It's the lead story this morning, actually, and it's called "You've Been Framed." See what I did there? If you don't receive our weekly newsletter, you can go and check it out for yourself. Now, speaking of our newsletter, if you don't currently receive a copy each Monday morning, then please sign up. It's free. We only send it once a week, and I can assure you we don't sell our data to third-party companies, unlike certain people that I could mention, but I won't. If you'd like to get a copy each week, just visit demolitionnews.com. Right at the top of the page, you'll see a tab marked Contact. Just click that and fill in the form. It just literally requires your name and your email address, and our system will do the rest. And just one other very quick note. The number of people following our Facebook page has really spiked since we started doing these shows, and we welcomed a whole new bunch of followers this weekend. So this is a very quick shout out to Josh, to Doug, Sam, Adam, Jake, and Joe, and all the others that followed us this weekend. Welcome aboard, guys. I hope you like what we've got to offer for you. If you were here on Friday, you'll know that our guest, the Builders Conference CEO, Neil Edwards, reported on yet another bumper month for construction contract awards in the month of July. The BC Live League table fell just a tiny little bit short of the £6 billion mark, but it was another exceptional month for the wider sector. In fact, Neil and I actually discussed the need to reevaluate what we now consider to be the monthly average. For several years now, that monthly average has been £4 billion. But the monthly figures have been above that, often way above that, for the past few years. So £5 billion may be the new base level. Now, all of that is great news. And if you'd like to feel even better or even more positive about the industry, I will add a link to Neil's monthly column in the description of today's show just as soon as this show is over. But while workloads have bounced back to pre-COVID levels, the construction industry's investment levels are still displaying symptoms of COVID-19. That's the finding revealed by analysis of the latest ONS data by business tax relief specialist Catax. Catax reports that business investment in the construction industry collapsed 21% in the first quarter of this year. Business investment in the construction sector declined £892 million between January and March compared to quarter one of 2020, dropping from 4.3 to just £3.4 billion. On an annual basis, the industry's performance was worse than the UK industry as a whole, which posted a 16.9% annual fall across all sectors, dropping an estimated 10.7% on a quarterly basis to sit 17.3% below pre-pandemic levels. Business investment in the construction industry is now 29.1% below its record high of 4.17 billion recorded in the final quarter of 2019. Catax CEO Mark Teague says there have been signs of improvement recently, but it's disappointing to still be counting the cost of the pandemic, which hit the industry hard in the first quarter of last year, and which is still reflected by relatively weak figures. Despite leaving the rest of the country in the dust with its impressive quarterly growth, the construction sector has still underperformed the rest of the UK on an annual basis. It's extremely likely that business investment will show a strong year-on-year rise next time out, because of the slump seen at the start of last year. but this will mask what will still probably prove to be a relatively weak set of numbers. The true test will be how quickly it can recover from pre-pandemic levels. Speaking of the Builders Conference, which I sort of was, when I'm not here sat staring blankly into a camera, I like to be sat staring blankly at a float while fishing on a riverbank or by a lake. If I'm lake fishing, my destination of choice is one of a series of venues in and around the town of Godalming, just up the road from here. The chances are I will soon be bumping into a demolition contractor at some point on a future fishing trip, because according to the research team at the Builders Conference, Waverley Borough Council has plans to erect 5 new homes on a site at Pathfield in Chiddingfold. But before that work can commence, a pair of houses on the site needs to be demolished. Feltham Construction Let me try that again with my teeth in. Feltham Construction is in the running for the new build element of the works, but a suitable demolition contractor has yet to be appointed. You can find out more about this project lead and many, many more just like it over at buildersconference.co.uk.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right. Back to Beardy.
Now, I will roll the outro in just a second before hopping over into the chat to see what you've got to say. I'll be back here, same time, same place on the morrow for more of this old stuff and nonsense. But until then, have a great day. Stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends and your colleagues, and thanks for watching.